Hi friends, I'm Jake.
And I'm Miss, and we're Board Down Under. Today we're going to be previewing Don't Go In There, so just take note that what we see and say in this video, there might be some changes to the game between now and when it is released.
Yeah. That being said, this is a lightweight card drafting and set collecting game. It's got push your luck mechanisms. It's also got a variable setup at the start, which we love. Variable setup at the start makes perfect sense. It wouldn't be a variable setup midway through. All right. Brought to us by the creators of Canvas and Crypt, Road to Infamy Games has created another fun and accessible 2 to 4 player game that players are going to compete in. They're going to take the role of some happy-go-lucky kids that have found themselves in an abandoned house, of course, and those kids are going to split up intelligently to try and break their individual curses.
Yeah, so the players are going to be entering the different rooms in the haunted house. They're going to be collecting curses and being haunted by ghosts. Now, the curses that you collect have values depicted on them, and at the end of the game, the player with the highest curse value, well, they end up forever haunted. So collecting curses is bad, but it's also kind of good.
Yeah, look, it's necessary. So every time a player has a turn, they need to place a meeple into one of the locations, and then that meeple is going to return with a curse. But which curse is the big question, and really what the whole game revolves around. Along with its value, each curse has a type, effect, and an indication of whether that effect resolves during the game or at the end of the game. All curse cards of the same type are identical, other than the curse value, which will vary, making those higher value curses more dangerous to obtain. The effect of each curse will resolve if you acquire the required cards of that set, and the effects of each curse will generally let you dispel those curses, essentially removing them and their dangerous value from the game, or let you chase off some of the spooky ghosts that are haunting you.
Yeah, so for example, you might pick up some masks which let you transfer 2 of your ghosts to your friend on the right, because sending just one would scare them half to death. For each 2 music boxes you obtain, you'll be able to dispel one of them at the end of the game. The clock effect wants you to acquire a value of exactly 7 to dispel them. And the mirrors, which for each one you collect you will gain a ghost, but as soon as you have collected 3, you'll get to remove those ghosts and dispel those mirrors. There are plenty more curses to check out, and we're excited to see what will be released during the campaign.
Ooh, that's terrifying. So, curses, bad, yes, but by collecting the right ones, we can mitigate the effect that they have on us at the end of the game. Now, there's obviously a limited number of the cards available, and some sets are harder to complete than others, so there's some card counting promoted in this game. This raises a notable point specifically for 2 and 3 player games, where 12 of the cards are going to be removed from the curse deck, and that's done at random. It's hidden information, but it does mean that some of the curses just might not be able to get completed, and no player knows which of those it is. So it creates fun tension as the game draws to an end and you're looking down and going, can I complete my set or not? But it does mean that counting cards is sort of really difficult in the game, and if you're looking for that 100% strategic, know if you can or can't pick up a set, this might not be the game for you. But
yeah, I mean, I don't mind a bit of luck in games, so it didn't bother me, but I guess it's worth mentioning. Alright, so we've said that curses are bad, but collecting curses and sets of them is good, but how do we actually go about choosing which curse we're going to get? Each location has 3 curses randomly flipped into it and 5 spaces for meeples. Each turn, a player will place a meeple from their pool into an unoccupied location space. When a location has a 3rd meeple placed into it, it gets resolved. The ghost dice are rolled once and communally used to determine whether any kids are haunted. For each dice symbol adjacent to the space of the player's meeple, that player must select one of the 5 dice. The dice have 2 different sides, ghosts and no ghosts, and if you're a smart kid, you'll soon realise that choosing the no ghost option, whenever possible, is the best course of action. For each ghost symbol die activated, that player takes a ghost token from the pool. The deeper into a location you go, the more likely you are going to get haunted by ghosts. Once the haunting is complete, players, starting with the deepest meeple, get to take their pick of the curses in the row. The player with the meeple furthest back will be stuck with the last curse, but they're far less likely to get haunted by any ghosts. Return meeples to their players and flip over 3 new curse cards to that location. This is really fascinating as an auction push your luck type of system, where the first and second players going into a location really need to decide what value they have on the curse card that they're going after. How many ghosts are you willing to risk to get the card you want? And if you undervalue it, well, other players can come in after you and outbid you by placing their meeples deeper into the location.
So, curses have values that add up to lose us the game. And we collect sets of curses to reduce those values. And in order to grab the right cards to complete those sets, we risk gaining ghosts by placing our little kid meeple deeper into the house. So the final piece of this spooky puzzle is, what consequence do these ghosts have on us? And it's kind of a big deal. At the end of the game, players get 1 additional curse for every 2 ghost tokens that they have. However, the player with the most ghosts gains 1 point for every ghost that they have instead. This can be surprisingly brutal, because if you're the player that has the most ghosts, you will have had to play an incredible curse game to snatch the victory away from the other players. So make sure that when you're going deep into a location, you've factored in this risk of how many ghosts you might get before you actually make the move.
The game itself ends once all those curse cards have been collected from the locations. Setting up the game, well, that's a breeze. There's a few meeples, tokens, and cards to hand out. The only real setup comes from that variable nature of the curse cards. There's 12 of these available to try in the simulator, but we believe there's more becoming available during the campaign. Players are going to be able to pick and choose or randomly shuffle 6 of these types together, and that'll form a new curse deck for each time you play. Now, depending on the curses that get included in your game, this is really going to shift the risk of gaining those ghosts and the types of curses you're picking up. We're really looking forward to seeing what new cards become available during the campaign.
And that brings us to our overall thoughts. So overall, I really did like this game. Some of the things that I liked, I think they've done a fantastic job with the artwork. So they've found this awesome blend of spookiness, but nothing that's actually too unsettling, just because of the fun kind of cartoony nature that's here. Yeah, just really liked the artwork. The components themselves, obviously we don't have a physical copy, but I believe we can expect some, pretty nice components. It doesn't look like the game's overproduced, which is, really nice. There is the box itself flips into kind of a dice tower, which is awesome. The ghost dice, it's a bit of a novelty. They're glow in the dark, and so I think the hope is that as you drop them through the dice tower, there are these little cutout windows and you can see them kind of glow as they fall through the tower. Fingers crossed that in the right setting, that effect will actually be there, and it'll be quite cool. But obviously without the physical copy, we can't comment on that too much. I also really like the amount of thought that this game kind of invokes in you. So on your turn, or at least on my turn, I found myself thinking I had 3 or 4 cards, like curse cards, that were out in locations that I kind of wanted, and then on top of that there might be 1 or 2 curse cards that I've noticed my opponent or opponents have, and I'm going, is it worth denying them that card? And if so, like once I've picked which card I want to grab, how far in am I actually going to place my meeple to get that card? Because ghosts, they can be pretty impactful.
Yeah, definitely. The ghost was one of the things I really liked about the game. They felt like they had such a big impact, because when the game was done, it was often only 1 or 2 ghosts difference in it. So having that difference in the number of ghosts adds to your scores a lot. So just because of the big impact that it had, it made the decision really thought-provoking, which was great. The other thing I really liked was just the game length. So it didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome. We were able to read the rules really quickly. We played through it fairly quick, maybe in about half an hour. And then we set it straight back up and played again, because we'd enjoyed it that much and we just wanted to try different combinations of the curse cards in there. So it was just overall really enjoyable. And yeah, overall, I guess I did really enjoy this game. There wasn't really anything I didn't like in it. Saying that, I do know that the 2 to 3 player setup where you remove the 12 cards was something you didn't
Yeah,
enjoy.
that's right. So, look, it just adds a spot more randomness into the game, and I'm someone that, prefers less randomness in my games, so it didn't really... The game was still really fun. I still really enjoyed the game, but that's the one kind of point that I'll make about the game. I think if you really want that strategic game that's got deterministic stuff going on and you want to count cards, this might not be the game for you. The other thing that I really loved here is the curse cards. So you've got 12 curse cards that come in the Kickstarter expansion, as we mentioned, and you get to pick 6 of those each time you play. I think there is more coming in the Kickstarter campaign. I think there might be a deluxe version or something along those lines that provides more of these, that more variety there, letting each game feel a bit different. That's really cool. I think some of the curse cards kind of synergize with each other and that sort of thing, like the tomes. I think the tomes let you get rid of some of the other, like a whole other type of card that you've got. So if you're trying to get this super difficult set and you can't complete it, you can use the tome to get rid of those values. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this game. There's a lot to like in this game. Look, so overall we recommend you give it a look on Kickstarter. Definitely check out the Tabletop Simulator mod. That was a lot of fun for us to play, and it'll give you a good insight into whether or not you're going to like this game. That's everything. I'm Jake.
And I'm Miss.
And we're Board Down Under. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.